Namaskaram. Today we will have a look about Vedas. Vedas are the world's oldest literature available. Hence, covering them in a 5-minute video will be very difficult. So, we will be covering it in a multi-part series. In today's series, we will be having an introduction to the origin of Vedas. Vedas means knowledge. However, this knowledge got distorted over the period of time. In the 19th century, many Western scholars deliberately distorted the meaning of the Vedas, be it Borden, Wilson, William Monier, Max Muller, so on and so forth. The famous 1860 election to the Borden Professorship of Sanskrit in the Oxford University of UK will help people to understand the reason behind the distortions. I will leave it with the viewers to arrive at a conclusion. What could be observed is like these distortions are continuing even today. One of the recent distortions that I could see was the reason for the rig in the Rig Veda is from a Tamil word called Urukku, meaning smelting. Nearly 2 lakh people have watched that video. That is when I could understand the scale of distortions. Hence, thought of sharing the little knowledge that I have about the Vedas. Vedas are apaurushaya, beyond the comprehension of human beings. So I am not claiming that I know everything on the Vedas. I am only sharing the little data that I have about the Vedas. Let us look at that all the Sanskrit Veda mantras carry 3 meanings, 3 arthas. They are Adhyatmika Artha, Adi Baudiga Artha and Adi Devata Artha. Hence that's why after chanting a mantra, we generally say Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. 3 times Shanti, not 1 time Shanti. Meaning that all the 3 arthas of the Sanskrit mantra have been now satisfied. Hence, any people generally reading the Veda mantra simply by a literal walkthrough will not be able to understand the actual meaning of the mantras. Having said that, let's look at the root cause or the root for the rig in the Rig Veda mantra. The root word for the rig is a Sanskrit term called rik, R-I-K, meaning stanza. The Rig Veda mantras are generally chanted in poetic form. So they will have different stanzas. So that is what is rig. Also, the Rig Veda mantras have to be chanted in specific shrutis. So there are 10 shrutis available. They are example of Udantam, Anudantam, Svaritam, Revam, Harsham, Pracheya, Anunashigam, Kambam, Dirgha Kambam and Plutam. We should also understand that our rishis in the Sanatana Dharma, they realized that the knowledge cannot be dissipated to the people with a single book. Hence, we have got multiple books. There are more than 2000 books available for us. Out of the 2000, we have got 10,000 commentaries for them and more than 1 lakh sub-commentaries for these books available. Our general literature is very vast. Our top of the literature stack will be the Vedic literature. The Vedic literature includes the Vedas, the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas and the Upanishads. The Vedas are 4 in number. They are the Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharvana Veda. Actually, the Vedas are 5 in number because the Yajur Vedam is classified into Sukla Yajur Vedam and Krishna Yajur Vedam. The Brahmanas, they are related to the Yajnas and the poems that have to be performed. The Aranyaka, people who have read the Ramayana would know that the Aranyakandam is related to forest. Hence, Aranyaka is also related to forest. People who want to take Vanaprastham or Sannyasam, the rituals that they have to perform before taking Vanaprastham or Sannyasam is given in the Aranyaka. The Upanishads are the last in the Vedic literature. Since they are in the last, they are also called Veda Antam. Antam means last, which becomes Veda Antam becomes Vedanta. Let's start with the Vedas. If we have to look at the origin of the Veda, we will understand that the Vedas have Anadi. Anadi means there is no Adi at all. It is very, very old. Nobody knows when it was started. If we have to do a scientific calculation, is there any approximate value that we can arrive at? For this, I would like to quote Dr. N. Gopalakrishnan. It has been mentioned in the Rig Veda as well as in the Taittiriya Brahmana. Taittiriya Brahmana is part of the Yajur Veda. So it is mentioned here that Brihaspati Pradhamam Jayamanam Drishyam Nakshatram Avisambabuva. This means Brihaspati is Jupiter, planet Jupiter. So when planet Jupiter occulted Delta Cancri is a constellation, a star. It could be observed that the Delta Cancri was newly born. This appears to be an astronomical phenomenon, which is mentioned in the Rig Vedam and the Taittiriya Brahmana. When we do a scientific calculation to understand when this astronomical phenomenon has happened, we will come to know that it has happened around 4275 BC, plus or minus 75 BC you can add to it. So 2000 years into the AD and 4000 years approximately into the BC, we can say this Veda mantras would have written somewhere around 6000 years ago. The next thing we have to understand is like who wrote the Veda mantras. Okay. When we chant the Veda mantras, we would see the Brahmin saying like Gadino Vishwamitra Rishihi, Anushub Chandaha, Mitro Devataha. So what does that mean is like this mantra is for the Mitra god. Mitra means sun. This is recited in the particular chandas and then it is written by Gadino Vishwamitra Rishihi. That Rishi wrote it. So like this, we can understand that in Rig Veda, there are more than 200 rishis who have written the different Vedas. And they have written it over different periods of time. So it was not like in a one shot in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it was written over a very long period of time. So then what happened is like it was Krishna Dvaipayana, who was later called as Veda Vyasa, who collated all this information and classified into 4 different topics like the Rig Vedam, Yajur Vedam, Sama Vedam and Atharvana Vedam. We could also found that the different rishis belong to different gotra. Gotra means clan. So people belong to Vashishta Gotram, Vishwamitra Gotram, Kanva Gotram, Angirasa Gotram, etc. Different rishis of different gotras have written the Veda mantras, which are later collated by Krishna Dvaipayana or Veda Vyasa. It could also be understood that when Krishna Dvaipayana collated the Veda mantras are spread over 2000 years old, which was collated together. So 6000 from our older calculation, we add 2000, approximately 8000 years. You could also know that before the written form of Veda mantras were there, the Veda mantras were generally spread in the oral or verbal fashion. So if we add from approximately 2000 years, so we can be very confidently telling that the Veda mantras were nearly 10,000 years old. It could also be observed that the written Rig Veda, the earlier part of the Rig Veda are in the old Vedic Sanskrit and the later part are in the modern Sanskrit. So that means the Veda mantras, Rig Veda mantras were not written in one period, it would have been written over a period of time. So with this, we come to know that the Vedas were nearly 10,000 years old. So are there any archaeological evidence to prove that people existed 10,000 years ago in India? So from places like the Kalibangan and Bhagavanpura, the artifacts extracted show a radiocarbon dating of leading us to 8275 BC, for it is approximately 10,000 years from now. So what we understand today is like the Veda mantras were written by different Maharishis over the period of time, which were collated together by Krishna Dvaipayana or Veda Vyasa, and the age of Vedas would be approximated to nearly 10,000 years old. Hope you had an opportunity to learn something new today. We will continue on the Vedas in our next blog post with more interesting facts. Thanks for watching.